Marvel Squid Comics Podcast, episode 12, season 2. I'm Drew.
What are you drinking, Don?
I'm Drew.
I'm Don.
I'm Scott.
And what are you drinking? I don't know. What are we drinking? Scott's drinking water, it looks like.
Margarita.
Yeah, I'm drinking water right at the moment. I just got done with the...
So, anyway, we're all Zooming tonight, so it's a little different dynamic. I don't know how it's going to work.
I don't either.
I can barely communicate you guys when I'm in the same room with you. So.
I know.
But this is true.
I finally watched Knives Out.
Oh, you hadn't seen that?
Oh.
No, I hadn't seen it.
That's a good flick.
What'd you think?
It was good. I liked it.
It was good. I liked it. That's a good review, Don.
I pushed my son, Xander, to watch it because I thought he'd like it. And he said he did. He enjoyed it.
Wow. We tried to get Emma to watch it, but she fell asleep in like 10 minutes in. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, Xander and I, we didn't even start it until like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. So it was like 1 a.m. by the time it was over.
Emma's always exhausted. She falls asleep like 10:30.
Oh,
if she's watching TV.
So...
I think TV puts her out. It used to do that to me when I was younger, too. If I'd watch something, it would just like shut down. I'd pass out.
Dang, that margarita sure looks good. Jeez.
You have a margarita? What's that chair you're in, Don?
Huh?
Is that like a recliner? Your chair.
It's a love seat couch.
Oh, nice. All right.
Sweet. He's
Cool.
just in style there.
Yeah, I'm like in a folding chair. I got like an annoying light behind me. Scott's got at least cool art and games and action figures behind him.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm chilling in my area.
Nice.
There you go.
Chilling in his area. All right.
Did you guys ever watch that movie Vice?
Vice. Yes, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I have watched that with what's his name, Christian Bale, right?
Yeah.
Dick Cheney is the bomb.
He is. Did you say you hadn't seen it, Scott?
I haven't, but it's not like you're going to ruin it for me. So.
Well, no. I mean, the way it's filmed and it's funny. It's very weird the way they.
Sam Rockwell is George W.
Yeah. And what's his face? The Office guy.
Steve Carell?
Steve Carell. Yeah, he plays like Donald Rumsfeld.
Oh, really?
He's in it quite a bit, but yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It had so many great moments. I just want to like quote it. Like when he's talking to George Bush, he's like, "Well, I'll be the vice president, but I want to run it a little bit differently. Like you'll be in charge of parties and being the figurehead, and then I'll do like the military and he listed off all the things he was going to be in charge of. Everything else.
Everything else.
And Bush is like,
would normally do.
"Yeah, that sounds good."
Yeah, and then they position he's got like all his guys in the spots, so like they're getting the emails to the president like before the president gets them, like all the morning updates and everything. Like they're intercepting everything. Like I don't know how factual that movie is.
I looked it up. It's not very factual at all, but it is hilarious. Like I think he just made stuff up like for that movie, but regardless, it's great.
Yeah.
Or like when they're talking like, "Oh, global warming sounds so bad. Let's call it climate change. Doesn't that sound a lot better?" And they had like a focus group. "Yeah, climate change sounds a lot better than global warming. Let's call it that."
Right.
Everybody likes climate change. Global warming sounds bad.
I guess it's not like necessarily funny, but when 9/11 happens and they're in the bunker and Cheney's in there and the president's like in the plane and he goes, I can't remember what he said. It was like initials or whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, shoot anything out of the air. And they're like, they look at it like, do you have the authority to do that or something? And he's like, yep. He just like takes over.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. He kept having heart attacks. That was a good ongoing joke.
Right. He's walking like in the halls of the White House or whatever and just like drops to a knee. He's like, call the ambulance. Like it's like his fourth heart attack or whatever.
Yeah, good times.
Anyway, that's what I watched some movies.
Cool.
A couple.
I saw Hamilton with about probably like 50 million other people over the weekend.
What is that?
It's a musical.
It's
It's the musical did a movie.
Yeah, Disney
Yeah,
bought the
They
rights.
just basically filmed the Broadway show, one of the Broadway shows, and they're televising that. So it's a Broadway musical.
Well, I knew that Hamilton was a Broadway musical, but I'd heard people talking about it or seen it on social media, but I didn't know if it was something different or if it was the musical.
They just filmed They just filmed a Broadway
filmed
show.
They basically filmed one of the shows in like 2016. And
so it's not a theatrical version of it?
It is a theatrical version of it.
Well, it is,
well,
but...
okay, I mean, it's the play, I guess I should say.
So they just filmed the play?
Yeah, they just filmed the play.
Oh, I thought it was like an actual...
So it's like an actual stage performance. So you're right. It's not like a whole theatrical design type thing and stuff.
That's weird, because they said Disney paid like $70 million for the rights or to buy the thing. I'm like, how did that cost $70 million? Just take a camera and shoot.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did a good job with it because they put cameras in really great places. In the
well, I don't know if that's worth $70 million, Scott.
But it's not worth 70. Well, to Disney, it probably ended
well, I'm
up
sure it is, but
because they ended up having like a shit ton of people join Disney Plus over a freaking weekend. So.
And it probably breaks them into a different demographic than the people who want Star Wars and superheroes.
I would assume so. But the fact is, it's something that they finally have that didn't like go to theaters first, and people really wanted to watch, much like Mandalorian. But to your point, it's a different demographic than the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Man, Patrick Mahomes has to work like a year and 3 months to make $70 million.
Right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. It's tough.
That's a sweet deal.
I started watching Warrior Nun on Netflix.
Warrior Nun. Is that any good?
Yep. It's okay. I was hoping it'd be more like Buffy the Vampire Slayer type of thing, but it's so-so. It's typical Netflix, though. It's going really slow, and it'll probably pick up towards the end.
I saw that, like I was flipping through channels or whatever and saw that it was on there, but I didn't even look at what it was about. Or because there used to be a comic years ago called Warrior Nun or Ariella or something. You remember that group?
I know what you're talking about.
It's not based on that, is it?
I think it's the same property. Well, I think it's...
Oh, it is?
Well, I thought it was. I don't know. I thought it was manga. Isn't it like a manga? Or no? Am I confused?
It wasn't a manga, but it was like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Style, but it wasn't manga.
It's
was
not
like
the same thing?
made.
I don't know.
Well, manga is Chinese. I mean, manga would be produced over there, wouldn't it?
Usually,
It's
yeah.
not like American manga.
I know nothing about Warrior Nun, except there used to be a comic book. I don't know if it's related to this or not. I thought it was a comic book of the Japanese manga, with an American version of it, and now they've made some kind of thing, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Could be.
I've just been watching Mad Men.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. There are that. Have you gotten to, when you were asking me if there's anybody redeemable in that show?
Yeah.
Or like if they're all just a-holes?
Well, like I
have
said,
you gotten,
Peggy's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Have you gotten to the part where the British, where the company are taking over?
The British just took over. Yeah. That's the beginning of season 3. That's what we're in now.
He's not necessarily a bad guy.
The guy who runs it?
Huh?
The guy who runs the office, the British dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's alright. He's just kind of vanilla.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
But,
Don's kind of, he's kind of come around a little bit. He's still not good, but he's gotten a little better this season. Maybe it's just a little phase he's going through.
His whole, I don't know. He's hard to pick out because I mean
he's got issues.
Well, have you figured out who? Well, I don't know. I don't know where things happen. I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah. Well, I know that he's like not actually Don Draper. He's Dick whatever. That's all been revealed.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. So I mean, he basically is living a lie, like his whole life.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, that's not really I guess it's not a terrible thing, but it's not like it's not like he's a Boy Scout.
Yeah, but that guy was dead, so it's not like it matters.
Right. Yeah. Now it's how many? You said there were 6?
7 seasons.
6. How many?
7.
7. Okay, so you're not even halfway.
No, not halfway. Anyway.
It's a good show, though.
Yeah, that's what I've been watching pretty much nonstop.
Cool.
Yeah, I would imagine. There's quite a few episodes each season, too, right?
Well, it's only 13 per season.
Okay.
But still, if you get like 1 or 2 a night, it doesn't go that fast. Still takes...
Yeah, very true.
Did you ever watch it, Scott?
No, I didn't.
But I think it's my last like bucket list show. Like at one point I wanted to watch The Sopranos, but I'm not even sure that show even holds up that well. So
I bet it does. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah, that might be kind of on my bucket list, but it's not that big. But I mean, I think this is my last bucket list show.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Did you guys read a bunch of comic books?
I did. I read a ton of comic books.
Wow, good. I read
did.
my two.
I actually read something, but not a ton.
Cool.
But it's all one. I read like 1, 2, 3, 4. I read 6 issues of the Hickman X-Men. That's all I read. So like I read one thing and only 6 issues. So
This is what I read.
It won't.
Wow.
It won't take me very long to talk about what I'm talking about. So it's all Drew and Scott.
It probably will be. Well.
Hey,
it
Nick
will
is
be
watching.
That's all I read.
Hey, Nick, how's it going? Nick's watching.
Oh, cool.
Say hi to Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
I can't see your little computer, so I don't know who's watching.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Or
Drew has the power.
Has the power. Oh, so I tried to watch Terminator 2 with my son. It got too scary for him. He didn't want to finish it.
What?
Yeah. Terminator 2 was
Okay.
too intense.
My kids love Terminator 2.
Right? That's what well, your kids...
But I made them watch the first one.
I didn't make him watch the
First.
first one because it's weird.
Well, and my kids said that was awful. They said it was funny and just totally like a B movie.
I don't think it. I like it and I appreciate it, but I don't think it holds up to like a modern audience. How about that?
Oh God, no! Obviously it didn't. But then both. I know my daughter, Isabel. She said the second one was really good.
Yeah.
Xander was like, yeah, it was better than the first. So.
Yeah. Well, like the problem, Nick and I did the first Terminator for our podcast. Now that Nick's here, and the one thing I thought was weird about the first one is like the whole like trying to have sex with your friend's mom is just kind of weird if you think about it, you know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Little awkward. I don't know. I just thought watching it again as an adult, it's like that's a little strange, but you know, whatever.
Did you see that they're doing like retro nights at the drive-in on Mondays?
I did. They're doing like a Terminator RoboCop night.
Yeah, RoboCop and Terminator, and it's the extended whatever the RoboCop what do you call it, like the more violent one,
The unrated version.
Unrated version, extended whatever.
Yeah, the one they had on Amazon for a while. I watched that. It really wasn't that different. It was a little more violent.
Well, no, but except when they shoot him for like
10
5
minutes.
Right?
Yeah, and there's just blood flying everywhere.
It
Yeah.
is one long moment there.
Out everywhere.
But Verhoeven loved his violence.
But this week they're doing Empire Strikes Back. It's the 40th anniversary, so they're doing Empire Strikes Back at the drive-in. But I don't remember there's 2 movies. I don't remember what the second one is.
So when I go see like a retro movie at the theater, the main appeal is like you just see on the big screen, you have the theater sound and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
The drive-in's not much better than my home theater, really. Or it's actually, I mean, the screen's big, but the sound's horrible. I mean, I don't know what the appeal is, I guess, unless you just like to hang out with other people and watch stuff.
Yeah. Well,
It's sort of like watching a movie under the stars, and it's the environment that you're in.
Nick said he went Sunday night to the drive-in and saw Jurassic Park, but he didn't stay for E.T. I guess they had a Jurassic Park E.T. So
My kids thought E.T. was awful. Wait,
I watched that recently. I rewatched E.T. I thought it held up okay.
my kids did not like that movie.
it's
it's a rough one.
It's Empire Strikes Back and Black Panther.
That's a weird combo.
I know, right? Have to drive it. But Drew, the sound is better now because you listen to it through your car stereo.
I've done it that way. It's still horrible.
Well,
Or you could be like my daughter who did that, and then her battery died.
right?
Out there and give her a jump.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. The drive-in, it's hot, man, too. So
That's true too.
not real appealing to me. But I see that. I can see how it might be cool, but yeah, not for me anymore. I'm too old, and I don't want to stay up that late either. Because it doesn't start till like 9:30.
Yeah.
I'm old, man. Why would I stay up that late to watch a movie I've already seen?
Yeah, especially this time of year, they don't even get started until probably like 9:30.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. The drive-in I have fond memories of, but I think that most of the appeal has disappeared for me, which is sad to say.
It's fun. We took the kids a couple times. I mean, even within like probably the last 3 or 4 years, and it's still fun from time to time.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I would say always go in the spring or the fall where the movies can start a little bit earlier because the days are shorter.
Yeah, if you can catch it early March, it's not that hot and it starts quite a bit earlier. That's the ideal time.
Yeah, and like I said, I think the fall works out pretty well too.
Yeah, if you can get yeah, definitely, I agree.
To me, the idea of the drive-in is better than the actual drive-in.
That's kind of what you just put what I was trying to say with 1,000 words. You just said with like 10. Good job, done.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But like Scott said, it is kind of. We used to go maybe once a year and take the kids, and it's kind of fun to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I took the kids a couple times. It was fun, but like I said, it's not that fun anymore for me.
I got my new comic shipment today. It had a decent amount of comics in it.
Wow.
There weren't very many Marvel comics though.
Yeah, they said Marvel's only shipping like every other week.
Yeah.
Or they're doing trades one week and then single issues the next or something. I don't know. But DC's cranking product out.
Are they?
Supposedly. I don't buy any DC, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I got a few. I mean, I got a couple Batmans, and I got that Joe Hill stuff. And then, a couple of those, the Black Label ones.
Yeah.
Because I've been buying those, so I got those. But it seemed like a lot of Image.
Yeah. Cool.
Image is bringing stuff out. Which did you pick up that Negan Lives or whatever?
I did not.
Did you hear about what it is?
It's about Negan, and he lived.
Right. Well, Kirkman wanted to help the comic book stores.
So he went back to the well, and he gave everybody copies of it for free, right?
Well, and did like a Negan one shot and like shipped it or whatever. So it came out like I don't know.
Yeah, I think just like last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, I didn't pick.
So that takes place like when the epilogue did of the original, or
I don't know. So. I just got it today. I haven't read it, and I haven't read anything about it.
What's sad is I didn't even remember what happened to Negan, but I guess he kind of like wandered off at some point. I guess it's what happens after he wandered off. It's like a Negan story.
And he finds a little house where he just like kind of puts himself in his own solitary type thing.
Yeah,
he goes and finds him. He like goes down on his knees, ready to be shot, and she's like, "Heck no, you're torturing yourself. That's better than I could ever do." And she walks off.
Yeah, I think it happens after that.
There. I don't know that there's really that may be what this is about, but that's kind of where they left him a bit. I mean, they flashed back to him, I think, in that house by himself, but
yeah,
I don't know that he really does much.
Yeah,
that's at least what I last remember.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that's what the story is after that, maybe. I don't know. I didn't read it. I kind of felt like Walking Dead's over. I don't really need a Negan Lives story. And I have them all in nice hardcover, so I don't really... Maybe they'll combine it with that other Negan book, and they'll put out another hardcover, like a whatever, next volume.
What other Negan book?
They did like a Negan origin story. And they collected it as like a trade.
So they did do something like that. Where
and I never read that
the
either.
origin of Lucille and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that in like their Image Plus?
I think they were serializing in there, and then they put out like a hardcover of it or a trade or something. I don't know.
I don't remember the hardcover trade ever coming out, but I remember it being in like Image Plus or Next or whatever.
It did come out.
Huh. Anyway.
So, yeah.
Kind of like the Michonne one shot or whatever about how she got the two zombie guys that were walking around.
Oh yeah, they could put that out sometime too. They could put that Negan book, the Negan Lives, and then the Michonne one shot all together. That'd almost be enough material.
I know they put the Michonne stuff actually in the free comic book day one year.
Yeah.
In my order, I got a lot of Kirkland stuff because an issue of Die 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 came out. That Firepower trade or whatever with Somni came out.
Yeah.
The Negan Lives came out, and then I think is it Outcast or what's that one?
Outcast, sure. Yeah.
Outcast. I got quite a bit.
That's the end, right?
Yeah, I think it's got like 2 or 3 more issues.
I got quite a bit of Kirkman in my box this month.
Nice. Yeah, that whole Firepower release thing. I bought the trade, the Prelude trade, and I got the free comic book day one because they just gave it to me. But then they're putting out another number one. Is the other number one the same as the free comic book day one, or is it a different thing?
I don't know, but I ordered the trade, and then I ordered number 1 and 2, and I'm hoping it's not just the reprint of the trade in a single issue.
No, the trade's different. I'm just saying there's a free comic book day number one. I'm trying to figure out where that fits
I didn't
in.
know there was a free. Did they actually release free comic book
Yeah, I
day?
have it in my hands.
Where'd you get it?
At the comic book store. They gave it to me. I didn't order it. They just gave it to me.
Oh, they're doing weren't they doing like a free comic book day, like making a mini, like do it 4 weeks in a row or something instead of like one day? I think they were gonna like slowly.
Yeah, I think so. But like this was what was gonna come out free comic book day. So he just put it out with the trade, and then there's a number 1 and a number 2, but in the back of the free comic book day, it says number 1 in the issue, and then it says number 2 coming soon, but it doesn't say anything about number 1. So it's just kind of confusing. I don't know what the number 1 is, or if it's just the same as the free comic book day one, I guess.
Back before the.
But I decided I'm just going to do trades on this, so I just got the Prelude trade. I'm not going to get the single issues.
Back before the pandemic hit, I know when you used to order stuff through DCBS, they would let you pick out free comic books.
Yeah.
And I did that, but I never got any of them, so.
Because they never came out, I don't think.
I guess, but that one did.
That one did. I think it just came out last week, so maybe. But you said you got the Prelude trade in your box, so it's odd that you didn't get that either. I don't know.
I'm not too worried about it. I don't think I've actually read a free comic book day comic book in probably 5 years. I go pick them up and then I stack them in a pile and I never get to them.
I think the last one I read was the Street Angel one. Yeah, pretty much.
I think there's probably a store.
I did read that Street Angel one.
Yeah,
I read that one.
I think I'm pretty much over free comic book day. Because,
Wow.
like Don said, it's like I never read them, and it's usually like stuff that's reprints of stuff I've already read or stuff I'm gonna buy, and so it's kind of like, eh.
The best part about free comic book day is usually the sales or whatever that they have going on in the store.
Yeah, that's true.
I would agree.
Oh man, Scott's already fallen asleep.
I usually went just to see the board game type sales and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's a good plan. All right, let's talk about what we read. We talk about Firepower. You want to talk about Firepower?
You can. I haven't read it though.
Oh.
Was it good?
I read the Prelude and I read number 1. So the Prelude is like a really long origin story, obviously, and it's basically Iron Fist. You know, it's this dude and he kind of goes to some secluded like mountain place and learns about like martial arts and fire power instead of Iron Fist. It's like a fire power, like a flaming fist thing, you know. But there's you got like the old dude on the cover who's like the old wise guy, and there's like a love interest, and then of course there's the other student who's like antagonistic towards him because he's an outsider, blah blah blah. You know, of course he's sort of like he is very advanced for the amount of training he's had, so he's kind of like a prodigy, you know. So it's very tropish, I would say, but very well done, very entertaining. Like I said, it's Kirkman, so he knows how to tell a story. Sam Nee is a great artist, so I mean, super enjoyable, but just nothing super groundbreaking, I would say, but really, really solid, really, really fun, very good. I enjoyed it.
Good writing, good action.
Yeah, and so then the number 1 free comic book day, it takes place like 10 or 15 years later. So the guy who went to the mountain or whatever, you know, he's now like living in the suburbs, has a wife and kids and all that jazz. And his in his
the trade?
15 years later. Yeah.
But that's in the trade.
Yeah, at the very, very end of the trade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 15 years later.
What the free comic book day is.
Well, it picks up where the end of the trade left off. So it's 15 years later, and then you pick up in the suburbs, and of course his past is now coming back to, find him or whatever. Basically, is the gist. So.
That could be a metaphor for like nowadays with like social media and people that did stuff 30 years ago, and now they're getting screwed because they said a joke or tweeted something.
Yes, I'm sure it's a metaphor for that, or it's just
25 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
That came to a crashing halt.
Crashing halt. All right, Scott or Don, you should do something.
Well, since Don has like one thing, I suppose I'll go next.
I could do each issue. I could review
One
each
Last Man, Girl on Girl.
Nice.
Your favorite one, Don?
Yes. What are you up to? What trade is this, 5?
Number 6.
All right, I got the hardcover on screen of number 6. So.
Gotcha.
Do you? Oh, cool. So this is basically continuing off from number 5. Wow, imagine that.
Imagine that.
And in this case, the little monkey ampersand has been kidnapped by our ninja and has been taken across the ocean over to Japan, I believe. And our heroes here, Dr. Man, 355, and Yorick, are on a boat to try to intercept or at least try to catch up to him. And so this is pretty much all taking place on a boat that they were able to get onto. Turns out that the boat is a bunch of drug runners that are trying to smuggle drugs, opium, into Australia. And meanwhile, the Australia females there, they have like a submarine, and they're after this boat to try to blow it up and stop the drug running. So that's pretty much what goes on in this book. Pretty good.
So it's still solid?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's still solid. And it moves at a freaking lightning pace.
So it's not like getting to the point where you're like, man, this series needs to hurry up and get it done.
Oh, God, no. No, not at all.
Well, that's good.
I mean, it's got that little bit of a chase type of thing that's going on, and whatever the heck else. But the characterization's real good, and it seems like they're always finding some new just disaster that they've gotten themselves into. The end of this one too has like a little one shot about his girlfriend Beth that's in Australia as well, and it kind of just has like a little what is she up to now? What is she doing? And turns out she's still alive. Hey.
So on my hardcover, I think it's volume 5 and 6. It's got like a chick with like a cowboy hat and a pistols in it, with like some.
That could be Hero.
Oh, okay, it's probably his sister.
His sister. Although
Cool.
she really doesn't pop into this one.
Maybe she's in the last one. Like,
she might be in 6. She was definitely in 4.
all right.
She might be in. But yeah, this one has like a Hawaiian girl who's like captain of the boat that they're on. That's the drug runners, and she's pretty down to earth type of person. But I mean, she just kind of told it like it is. Like if she wasn't doing the drug running, somebody else would be, or something like that. Just trying to make the most of it.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So you're reading this Why the Last Man pretty slow, man.
I'm just doing one at a time.
Wow.
So I could do more, but it's just like, yeah.
You're milking it.
Might as well stretch them out.
Dragging
There's
it
only 10
out.
of them, so I mean now I'm 60% done. So
When's that TV show supposed to come out?
who knows?
That's too bad.
20 never.
20 never.
20
Right.
never.
Cool. Why the Last Man? All right, Don, what did you read?
I just read X-Men.
Oh my God.
Are you reading the Hickman X-Men, Drew?
No, I'm not. I read like the very, very first one. I want to read it. I
read
haven't
what?
read the X-Men for a while, so I feel like I don't want to dive in. I want to see what happened before. So I'm trying to catch up.
Traitor.
You read the first X-Men? The
That-
first issue?
that-
I know you read House of X and
Yeah,
Powers
the
of
first
X,
House
right?
of X. I only read one issue of House of X.
Oh, really?
That's all I've read.
Wow.
Just to get a taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
All
pretty
right.
good.
So Go ahead.
Me?
Somebody said something, I thought.
Nope, all in your head.
Oh, okay.
It's this damn Zoom call.
I read 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so Hickman Leno Yu did 4 issues before he had to take a break.
Oh yeah, it's coming out isn't it coming out twice a month or something?
I don't know.
I mean, Leno Yu's fast. He's not that fast.
Well, he did the first 4 issues, and then he took 2 months off, or 2 issues off, and then he came back. But, okay, so I don't know, because the only thing that I'm buying is X-Men. But I'm buying New Mutants also, but I'm not buying X-Force, Marauders. I'm not buying any other X titles other than Wolverine.
Okay.
And I don't know, because you read an issue and it doesn't carry over. Like, it doesn't lead right in. I don't know if it's because the first few books they had like a checklist where it was like, read X-Men, and then the next one is Marauders, and then this, and then this, and then this. So I don't know if I'm even getting like a full story, or if it's like, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't know how to explain it. Like, they'll fight somebody, and then they won't resolve it, and then you read the next issue, and it's something completely different with like completely different characters, and they're doing something else.
Isn't that just how Hickman rolls?
Huh?
Isn't that just how Hickman rolls?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because it almost made me, I was trying to think about it, because it was kind of like, am I missing something? Like, am I not reading the other 8 books, so I don't understand what's going on? Like, I'm missing 80% of the story, or...
How many books are there? Is there like another core book that you're missing? Like maybe there's 2 core books?
No. Here, I'll open it up.
Please do.
So
right, so he can read it to us.
So there's, No, it has on the back, it has a checklist. There's X-Men, there's Marauders, there's Excalibur, there's New Mutants, there's X-Force, and there's Fallen Angels.
Yeah, none of those seem important.
I doubt it.
They might have even launched like a couple more since the first issue or whatever, or first 2, I don't know, but...
Gotcha.
But yeah, but anyway, so then I was kind of thinking, well, maybe it's like Chris Claremont. Maybe he's just doing like 10 different threads.
Yeah, probably.
Come to it and tie it together or whatever. But I'm not like, I was a huge fan of Leno Yu's artwork.
Yeah.
He's changed a lot, and I don't know. It's not terrible, but it's not like my favorite thing ever now. Like,
his stuff isn't as crazy as it used to be, right?
Yeah. Like, I'd be okay if he didn't do X-Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what? Are you crazy?
I guess. But there was one issue, it was like, I can't remember if it was like 3 or 4. So, and I know, okay, so I don't know that I really like the way he set up the X-Men now, because you know what's going on, right? Like, they can die. They have all their memories, like, downloaded. And so, like, if they die, they just make a new body and download their whatever, essence or whatever, into a new body. So they're basically, like, immortal.
Yeah.
What, do they have, like, just a bunch of clones around or something?
Yeah, well, they can grow a clone like that. Like, somehow with that.
Really?
I think that's how it went down. It's like, so they... Because it happens on one of them to... I think it might have been... I can't remember which character it was, but they're like, well, we don't really have your full backup. We only have your backup to, like, this point. So when we regenerate you, you're going to miss out, like...
You're not going to remember any of this.
Yeah, you're going to be missing, like, something or whatever. But I don't know that I really... It's different, but I don't know that I really like that aspect. It kind of bothered me when I was reading them, that... Because they're...
It does take away a little bit of a threat there, I guess, in a way or something.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's
dampens the suspense, maybe, in some ways. I don't know.
He's not overusing it, I don't think. But, I mean, like, so there was this one storyline where... And I can't even remember what it's called, but they picked like 3 of them, and they picked them for their specific powers. And they didn't know if they were going to make it through the mission or not. So, but then they were like, well, if you don't make it...
We'll just upload your memories back to this. And
right.
you won't even remember that you're on a mission, so we'll send you again.
Yeah.
So are you
So,
quitting X-Men yet? Because you said Hickman was going to make you quit X-Men, didn't you?
no, I'll probably stick with it because it is interesting. I do like kind of what they're doing, and I do like the way Hickman's doing it. Because I was going to say there's like one issue where it's basically all political. Because they're on Krakoa now, and they declared like their own nation, right? So like all the mutants are on one island, and so they go to like it's what was it, Davos, where they have that big
Convention of rich people.
convention of rich people, whatever. So they're like invited to that, and so like Magneto and Professor X.
Oh, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, well, nobody's dead now. They bring him back.
Oh, nice.
Because they just keep bringing him back. That's right.
Right.
His memories may be from 60 years ago, but he's back.
Right. So no, yeah, Professor X is back. So like Professor X, Magneto, and like a couple other people, they go to like this. They go to this thing, a meeting with a bunch of other people from other countries, and they basically say, because they have those whatever the three
things,
and they're marketing it to the world or whatever, and so these people are like, all the other leaders are saying things like, well, you know, do we really need to take this drug like once a month? It seems like you're kind of stringing us along, like making us buy this. And Magneto's like, well, yeah, like, I'm not going to say that if you stop taking it, you'll be fine, or maybe you take a lesser dose or whatever, but this is how it is. And they're like, you guys have taught us over the years, like, how to maximize profit, like, you know, turn everything towards you, like, use everything to your end. He's like, we're just doing what you guys have taught us to do over the years, and now we're using it against you. He's like, we're going to get all your money, and then we're going to buy, like, all your banks. We're going to buy, like, all of your TV stations, all your newspapers, and then you guys will be coming to us, because that's what power is now. It's not starting a war and fighting. It's buying everything and controlling everything, because that's the way, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like Hickman, but how he gets like political and involved and all that stuff. But it was a pretty interesting issue. I mean, it was almost like a Bendis issue where it's just like talking heads the whole time. But there's a little bit of action in it. But that's what I mean. Like, they do that, but then they'll have, I don't know, it's just weird. Like I said, you get a piece of a story, and then they'll jump to, like, the next issue, they'll jump to, like, 4 or 5 other characters, and then they'll focus on them. And then they'll sort of resolve it, but not really resolve it, and then you'll jump to something totally different. So, I'm enjoying it. I just don't know if I'm getting the full story, like, if that's what he's doing, how he's doing it, or if I'm missing something by not buying all the other stuff. And also, like, Mystique, was it ever, I don't know, was she ever able to teleport like Nightcrawler? She was never ever able to teleport like Nightcrawler, was she?
I don't think so. I thought she was a shapeshifter.
Yeah, because there was like an issue, and she was like teleporting. And they had the BAM.
Yeah, but BAM. Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just...
Maybe it was just a feminine looking Nightcrawler.
No, it was Mystique. And then also the power of the retcon. So they're like, so Destiny has been dead forever, right?
Ever.
And they haven't brought her back. And so there's an issue that's basically with Mystique. And they're telling her that they need her to do this job, do a certain thing for them. And if she does it, then they'll bring Destiny back, and Destiny can be, because then she even refers to her as her wife, which I remember, like, back in the day when Destiny was around, like, they had something weird going, but it was never, like, cut and dry that they were together. You know what I mean? But apparently they were, according to Hickman, but they retconned it back to when Destiny was still alive, and they're sitting out talking, and Destiny's telling Mystique, they're in a long time from now, some people that say that they're your friends are going to come to you, and they're going to ask you to do something, and they're going to promise you something that you really, really want. and they're gonna screw you over. So don't believe them. And this was like years. You know what I mean? It was just like, I'm like, I guess that's kind of cool. That would have been cool if I was like 15 and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. But now I've seen it like 1,000 times, and now it's just like, okay, Hickman, like you know your history of the X-Men. You know what I mean? Like, it was just,
bit of a fan service, maybe.
Huh?
Bit of fan service.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
let's pull out what I know and give a little Easter egg here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. I'm kind of digging it, so I'll stick with it. At least the X-Men.
I'll be back. I'm getting picked up.
Okay. But yeah, I didn't get into any. I bought the New Mutants because I liked the New Mutants and I thought I'd see how it went. I don't like the younger Cable. I don't like the new Cable character. And then all the other team books that they had, like the Marauders and Excalibur, there were like maybe 1 or 2 characters on the team that I liked, but the rest of them I didn't really care for. So I was just like, I'll just buy the core X-Men book and see what it's like. You know what I mean? Just take a break.
Sure. What are you, 12? You follow characters?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right?
Nice.
But,
I follow creators.
Yeah?
Because a good creator can take any character and make it interesting.
Well, that's true, too, but...
So, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just, after years and years and years of buying X-Men, I guess I kind of got burned out. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to buy, 10 titles a month anymore of X-Men, because... I don't know. I drew a line in the sand.
Line in the sand. All right, that's cool. I bought Holler #1.
What is that?
It's like a weird-shaped comic.
Yeah, who makes it?
It is published by It's Alive. It's like self-published, indie publisher.
Oh, okay.
But, I don't know, I just saw it in previews. It looked kind of cool. It's basically kind of the I used to, when I was in high school, there were a bunch of autobiographical comic books out, like Low Life and all sorts of cool autobiographical comics. And this is in that same vein. It's basically just this guy kind of talking about when he was in high school and he was banned. He talks about his band, and he has like these little vignettes of, the girl he liked, another band member like this girl. It's just kind of very slice of life-ish. I don't know. It was pretty entertaining. I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I've always been a sucker kind of for slice of life stuff. But he's got fun little vignettes. Like, he's got this Nirvana shirt, and he said, like, his parents were religious or whatever. And so he's, like, wearing his, like, Nirvana shirt to, like, church group, and they were talking about all these horrible things that Kurt Cobain said about, like, religion at, like, and he's wearing a Nirvana shirt at, like, the the youth group, and it was very awkward or whatever.
What's the name of this?
It's called Holler, Holler. #1. It's like a weird size. It's like almost like an album, but not that big. But and it was $5.99. I thought that was a little steep, but it's an indie comic, so what are you gonna do? But yeah, it was fun. It was a good little kind of slice of life thing. If you're looking for something like that, it might be something to check out. I think he's like crowdfunding issue #2 right now. Like there's Indiegogo or something for it. So
Did you get your survey for your Octobriana?
Octobriana, yes, I did, Don.
Yeah, cool.
I thought that was going somewhere. That was it.
Well, no. Did you just buy the neon one or whatever? Did you buy?
Yeah, I just got the regular one. I didn't get any of the extra stuff. Well, those posters are cool, but I don't have anywhere to put a giant blacklight poster.
But I didn't know if you bought the other versions of the comic because you did.
No, I didn't do that either. That wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with just one version of it.
Yeah, I am too.
Like,
I think it's cool that he's doing all that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of like his thing, but
yeah, no, it's cool. I'm good. I mean, $20 for a comic is bad enough. So.
And then $5 for shipping.
Yeah, so I didn't really need more versions of it. Of course, the other versions were only like $10 a piece, so
I know.
kind of a bargain.
I wasn't interested in the black and the white version at all, but I almost added on that.
The vintage one?
The vintage color retro or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I did look at it.
I ended up not pulling the trigger on it. So.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know I did Holler, so I think it's Scott's turn again.
Is it?
Hey, let me guess, Sandman.
Wow.
You're so Ooh, Game of You.
A Game of You. I don't have any Sandman to put up on the screen while Scott's talking.
No problem. You know,
that one's not very good, is it? That one looks thick.
I honestly enjoyed this.
Oh, cool.
But it's there's really here again not much is happening, but it's more of a story that his writing style I feel like does well with. In the case of this one, it's going back to the well here again with one of his past characters, Barbie, who used to be dating Ken or whatever, and everybody made a joke about that, of course. But then she essentially broke up with him, and she's like living on her own, and it's basically about her and some of the people that are in the apartment complex that she's in, and of course dreams here again that are affected. And here again, some dream escapes and is trying to say, "Hey, Barbie, you're not dreaming anymore. You need to come back and help our land." This type of stuff. And so she has to end up going to the dreamland and helping out in that world. But the funny thing is, she goes there, and it's like everything that happens was probably going to happen anyway. It's kind of like the Indiana Jones effect. No matter what the hell Indiana Jones did, the Ark of the Covenant got caught and opened anyway. I mean, it's kind of the same thing here, in which it's like, oh, there's a dream world that is on the edge of extinction. Guess what happens? It burns out. So, woo.
Nice. Are those left over from last time?
Yeah. Voodoo Ranger, American Haze.
There you go.
It's not bad.
But the interesting thing about this is that I think Sean McManus, it says illustrated by.
Yeah.
I actually like a lot of his art throughout here.
Cool. I got a cool Sean McManus series you should read then. It's called A Man Called Axe. I got it bound. You should borrow it. Read it.
Really?
If you like Sean McManus.
I think his art really works well, at least for this particular story and things, and I guess the overall story, and stuff that was trying to be told here in it. But, I don't know. He's got a cool style here with it.
I like
the
Sean
problem
McManus.
Is that there's he must have fallen behind at some point, and they bring in somebody for just one damn issue. And it's I don't know. It turns out to be a style that is just kind of scratchy, and it's definitely a different style. It's not necessarily bad, because anything is better than what the hell I can do, but it is just not very good. It almost kind of pulls you away there a little bit.
Yeah.
It was couldn't wait to get done with that issue and get back to, some of this other art and stuff. I think he does a really good job on doing Dream, and things. So, and maybe that was part of what made this one a little bit better. Like I said, it's probably not as good as the last one, but I gave the last one kind of crap because of the fact that I felt like it was here again, oh wow, let me just show you how many little things I can pull out, from different genres, whatever, and pile it into a story, but yet do absolutely nothing. So, in this one, it's almost the same type of thing. Hey, let me throw in a bunch of characters, have them talk a little bit, and stuff, and at the end, it's just showing how a dream dissolves, or a dream world dissolves.
I think Neil Gaiman just was at the right time. You know what I mean? He was very innovative at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
No one
absolutely.
made comics like that.
Maybe that's why I like this one a little bit better, is because, I think I love Seasons of Mist at the time when I read it, but then since then, people have done the whole hell thing coming back out, whatever the heck else, and, maybe doesn't seem as original as it was probably to me at the time. I don't know. This one's still pretty original as in the whole Sandman group of things, and maybe that's why I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Cool.
But I don't know. It's still. I think you're right. I think he hit the right time, especially bringing something that was totally different to the comic book world. Right. The other important thing in this particular story or whatever, this volume, is that he introduces. I'm going to butcher this like I butcher every other word. Thessaly, does that sound right? It's a witch that's been around forever. And I think they even had some one-shots of her and stuff of that nature.
That sounds familiar. That sounds right.
Yeah. So she's introduced in here, and she's a bit of a mean witch, that's for sure. I don't think that she cares who the hell she harms, and is just as long as she stays alive. So
Cool.
but yeah, I don't know. See a little bit of her there.
Nice.
Kind of a small girl with large glasses,
Cool.
but you definitely don't want to mess with her because she'll take you out.
Take it out. Speaking of witches, I read Fables Deluxe Volume 3.
Woo!
So,
Love Fables.
I wanted to talk about this real quick because it kind of reminded me of Sandman. You were talking about the artist. I feel like what's great about Fables and not so great about Sandman is that Fables has Mark Buckingham doing 90% of the art in that book. I mean, they'll have fill-in issues here and there, but Mark Buckingham just gives it a really consistent look and style, which I think really works to its advantage.
And it built her out. Yeah, he did it. He was on there for
the whole thing, I think.
Pretty much the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I think the first trade he didn't do, but then he took over after that and pretty much was the consistent artist. I mean, I think he did most of them. Like, they had fill-ins here and there, but...
Yeah.
But like on this trade,
vacation.
there's like a main story, but then there's like one single issue story, which is about like Cinderella and her spying or whatever, you know, her being like a spy or whatever. And so that story is by a guest artist. But then the main story, which is basically about the March of the Wooden Soldiers, where the wooden soldiers come in and try and like take over Fabletown or whatever. That's the main story in this, and he did the whole thing of that. And it's super solid, and it's a great story. And you know, unfortunately, I already know.
Like you said,
I already know who the adversary is, so some of the little hints he's leaving are kind of lost on me because I already know, who the adversary is.
That's true.
But he's given some. If you didn't know, I think he's giving you some pretty good, obvious hints. If you could kind of put the pieces together.
I think so. I think he led it right there
to
a natural.
Yeah.
End, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah,
it didn't seem like it was some just weird ass curveball, that was way out of left field. Going what?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. This is a natural progression to where it could lead. Yeah. Well, it's surprising in its own way. It was like, yeah, I can see this, and it was amusing as well. I felt like.
Yeah. So far, the pacing of Fables has been really good. Like this issue, it's got like the whole wooden soldiers coming in, but at the same time, Snow is pregnant, and they're kind of like have that in the background, and Rose Red is kind of running the farm or whatever. So they have those threads that from the other stories kind of in there, but they're not really focused on them, but yet they're still kind of moving forward as this other story is going. So it gives you kind of...
Blue still around?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's in this one.
Okay.
He gets in this one.
Because somewhere around here, doesn't he start going on his own little mission? Doesn't he, or whatever? Don't they send him?
Not yet. In this one, he gets kidnapped because the girl who comes back, who they think comes back,
is
Red Riding Hood, but it's not really her. But that's who he left behind at the last castle or whatever.
Right.
So he gets taken. Yeah, he gets taken in by her and kind of gets tortured and stuff.
Poor boy Blue. Yeah.
Poor boy Blue.
He's always a sucker for the women, man, and they just screw him.
That's the one thing that is a little frustrating. Is I always get Boy Blue and Jack kind of mixed up because they both kind of have blonde hair and they kind of look the same-ish,
But Jack's the asshole and Boy Blue's like the good boy.
Yeah, but totally. Their personalities are different, but physically they look very similar, and so it kind of always throws me off. And
I guess, except for doesn't Jack have a long little ponytail?
Yeah, in this one he's got a little more of a different look, but I don't know. They're both blonde, young-looking guys, pretty boys. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of.
Have you read all of this, Drew?
I have not. I stopped. Scott was giving me the trades for a while. I don't think I made it to 100. I think I made it to like 70s or 80s, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But now I'm stalled out because I think book 4 of the deluxe editions are out of print. I was hoping they were going to start putting them back in print, which they might still, but I saw that they solicited like a compendium version of Fables, which I don't know if that's going to stall them reprinting the hardcovers or not.
Jesus Christ.
Is volume...
You should always borrow mine.
Yeah, I know. I totally could read it, or I could read it in trade or just borrow yours. I just wanted to collect the hardcovers, so I kind of wanted to collect them and then read them as I went.
Yeah. Is the volume 4 like on Amazon for like $1,000?
Yeah, like $400 or $500. You can get it.
I think you can buy it on eBay for $100.
Oh, maybe. I still don't want to pay $100. I'd rather pay like $18 for it, if that's cool.
Right. It's like a $30 or $40.
But like Scott said, it's like I can read it. I can borrow Scott's if I wanted to. I'm trying to get the hardcovers. So.
Oh yeah, totally understand.
It's all good. Fables.
Sometimes those are really nice in there.
Also, that'll
How many
make me
years
kind of
did
take
that
my
thing
time.
Go.
What's that? I was talking
Well,
over you.
15 years.
Did it really? I mean, it was 150 issues, right?
150 issues, so
Not
12
So
a year.
they're divided by 12 in that range.
Well,
but I mean, that you're still figuring that'd be at least 12 years. But there was were they pretty regular all the time? Did they have
It was
any-
fairly consistent. I don't think they had a lot of breaks because they got Mark Buckingham breaks by having fill-in artists.
But I think towards the end they slid off a little because I think, and they pushed that last issue back because they kept making it bigger and bigger.
And then it became its own trade.
Then it became
Oh yeah.
So I seem to remember a little bit of a gap towards the end.
Towards the end, there might have been. But
But
it was
they-
fairly consistent before
But
that.
then again, that last issue was like freaking, I don't know, 4 issues worth.
Right.
It's,
Yeah, it
it's
was,
insane how big it is. But it also had a lot of guest artists and things of that nature in there, so I don't know.
Right. No, I think it kind of it was consistent, but I seem to remember it kind of trailing off towards the tail end of it. But I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think that was part of the thing too. Is you could tell that I think he was running out of some stories with these characters or whatever else as well. I don't know. I mean, I still think that there were stories to tell, but I think his main story that he wanted to was complete. And in fact, after they, spoiler alert, defeat the adversary, it always seems like they had some difficulty finding, anything that was as much of a mystery or as interesting and entertaining as that. I mean, he tries, and he's a good writer, so it still is interesting. But that first chunk, leading up to the adversary is just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. It did seem like it kind of lost direction after that a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, he, like I said, he still tries with the Dark Man, and some other things. He's still got the whole thing going on with Snow and the Wolf, Big B, which is one of the best parts of the series anyway. I mean, their relationship and stuff, and he, continuing with some of that and their kids, and things, but still, for an overall antagonist, he never really could fulfill that role of what he had with the adversary.
Yeah. It almost makes you wonder if he had just ended it there, it would have been more tighter and it would have just been a...
Maybe. I don't know. But, he still had some story to tell for some of those other characters.
Sure.
And he didn't want to keep dragging out the whole adversary thing either, because that might just pee people off as well. Everybody was wondering, who's the adversary, and stuff. Because he had done so well building this up.
Yeah.
How long do you drag people along for?
Well, Bill Willingham, he was working in the comic industry for 10, 15, 20 years before that hit. And he never quite had anything as successful as Fables. And since then, he's tried a couple things, and they haven't been very successful either. So it was probably wise for him to milk Fables for as long as he could, because that was really his most successful thing that he created. So,
yeah.
Kind of like why Kirkman ended The Walking Dead, why, he probably should have kept it going as long as he could.
Yeah, but he's got the TV shows and whatever the heck else.
That's true. He's not hurting or anything.
A while.
I think he said...
Unfortunately, Willingham could never really sell Fables, and people just went off and did their own thing kind of based off his idea.
Yeah. That is true. I think he still did okay, though. Because he's not... I don't think he's, working or anything. I think he's just, writing his own stuff here and there, and he does, I think he has, a YouTube channel, but I think he's just living off Fables residuals. Or royalties
He'd
or
be
whatever.
making more if they could keep them in print.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe he's the one that's buying them all up and selling them on the secondary market.
Yeah. Could be.
There you go.
Smart man. So, do you guys have anything else?
No, but I was gonna. So, I listened to that the cartoonist Kayfabe with Rob Liefeld. Did you ever listen to that one, Drew?
I did.
It was interesting when he's. First of all, I love when he does an impersonation of Todd McFarlane.
Oh yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Before, but yeah, I've heard it. He's a character.
Well, he was talking about.
Of course, anybody. I mean, listening to Todd McFarlane, Todd McFarlane talk is entertaining in itself. So
yeah. Well, when he was talking about when he quit, when they ended New Mutants and they were launching X-Force.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like, "What's an X-Force? What's an X-Force?
What's an X-Force? You're not going to sell 50,000 copies of that. Nobody knows what an X-Force is." But it was cool. I thought it was very interesting listening to him talk about Alan Moore.
Yeah, that was probably the most interesting part, was when he was talking about Alan Moore, working with him, and how Alan Moore was trying to get his neighbor.
Did he try to do an imitation of Alan Moore?
What's that?
Did he try to do an imitation of Alan Moore?
He did. Yeah, it was pretty good. But my favorite part was when he said how Alan Moore tried to get his neighbor to write the book, but still pay Alan Moore the same amount of money that he was getting paid when Alan was writing it by himself, and get his neighbor paid too.
And then Rob Liefeld's like, because it was the same last name. It was like whatever, John Moore or something.
Yeah, or Stuart Moore, I think.
Huh?
Was it Stuart Moore? I don't know. It was something like that.
It could have been. I don't know. But then Rob Liefeld's like, I had to tell him no. I'm like, I know you're Alan Moore, dude, but
the book is.
If I put on the cover of Supreme, written by Alan Moore's neighbor, like when he gets laughed out of the comic book shops. You know?
Well, he said Alan Moore was really kind of pissed because he didn't think he would say no. You know what I mean?
Say no, right?
Right.
I know.
And he's
Didn't he say he was paying him like $10,000 a script?
Yeah, and he was cranking out like a script a week or something.
Yeah.
So,
really?
Yeah, so Alan Moore's making like $40,000 a month, and he's like, let's keep this train going, but let me see my neighbor in on it.
Exactly. Like, he'd have been making like, what, $500,000 a year just on writing scripts?
Yeah. It was also interesting how he said all the books then went over to ABC, and how like this book was Promethea, and this book was Tom Strong, and this book was Top 10.
Exactly.
So that was interesting too.
It was also I was interested in the part where he was talking about Stephen Platt.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting too.
He was paying him a ton of fucking money. What, $40 grand an issue?
Yeah.
Pencils and inks.
Yep.
Back in what, 94?
Yeah.
95 or whatever.
Well, it's funny because
how did Stephen Platt not do like 100 issues in a row? If somebody's paying me $40,000 a month, I would milk the crap out of that. But they're artists, and they don't think that way. It's like they decide, well, I'm not really feeling fulfilled doing this. I want to do something more fulfilling, you know. Whereas I'm like, dude, I'm gonna keep going to work at my day job because they keep paying me. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's not that fulfilling, but they're putting food on my table, so I'm good, you know. But I'm also not Stephen Platt, so maybe that's the difference. That's true.
I mean, he's got unique skills that nobody else can really replicate, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody draws quite like him, so.
Well, and it was also interesting, too, when Liefeld was like, I hired Stephen Platt to draw Stephen Platt, and then Stephen Platt, like, started drawing, like, other people. And Liefeld's like, dude, I'm paying you a bunch of money to be Stephen Platt, not to be...
Jim Lee.
Lee. It's like, do Stephen Platt. But
so I like...
anyway.
So, quick thing. I like Rob Liefeld. He seems like a nice guy. But it seems like every story, you know, it was always like, this person was great, but then it went bad and it was all their fault. You know what I mean? Like, it was never like, I was a jerk. It was always like, yeah, they kind of became a jerk, so I had to kind of, you know, things aren't good with us anymore. He has a lot of burned bridges.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, when he was on the podcast, he seemed like this really cool, easygoing, really nice guy. When I met him in person, he came across a little dickish. Did you ever meet him in person?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he come across a little bit kind of like a jerk a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
But he didn't come across like that in the podcast at all, right?
Right. No. Yeah, not at all. And I met him in San Diego, and I had him sign like, goddamn, whatever, like X-Force #1 or New Mutants 100 or
something.
I might have even had him sign like the New Mutants 87, whatever it was. I put it, excuse me. I put it in front of him, and he looked at me, and he goes, he basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, "Don't you have one of these autographed already? Because I've autographed like 10 million of these. How do you have an unautographed copy of X-Force #1?" And I'm just like, dude, I've never been to a convention where you've been. This is the first time I've met you, But yeah, he was like, why the hell would you want me to sign this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, he's a nice guy, and I'm sure he gets all sorts of people at conventions. So I'm sure he's a little standoffish there, But
well, it was funny. I was listening to the one with Chris Claremont. And Chris Claremont was saying that, God, what book was it? I think it was whatever, but he's like, I think they only printed 50,000 or 100,000 copies of that book, but it feels like I've autographed like 200,000 copies of that book. You know what I mean? He's like, I can't remember what it was, but anyway.
Was he the one who was talking about like the old Comic-Cons and where John Byrne was a jerk?
Do what?
Was he talking about when he went to Comic-Cons as a kid and how everybody was cool except for John Byrne?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, John Byrne is still that way. I thought he got that. I thought he got that way over time, but no, he was a jerk back in the day.
Yeah, because he's like, I would come up to the table and John Byrne would be sitting there, but it would have a sign on it that would say "on a break."
But he'd just be sitting there.
But he would stay at the table and not go somewhere else. He'd just stay at the table and put up a sign that says "on a break." And he'd sit at the table, but he wouldn't sign anything, or he wouldn't even talk to people.
Nope, he's on a break.
Checked out. On a break.
On a break. Taking a moment.
Yeah.
That's the way he was when I saw him at Dallas. He was sitting at that table for like 2 hours, but he wouldn't let everybody was waiting in line, but he wouldn't talk to anybody or sign anything. He's like, nope, I go on at 3. I don't care if this show opened at 1. I go on at 3. You can all wait until 3. I'm like, dude, I got like a 11-year-old and an 8-year-old here. I could really use a little speed. Nope, I go on at 3.
Sounds
okay.
like your problem.
Sounds like your problem.
It sounds like a Drew problem and not a John Byrne problem.
It totally was a Drew problem and not a John Byrne problem. That is an accurate statement, Don.
I also thought that was funny when he was talking about like when he started and he was hiring like all the new guys and everybody was hot.
Yeah.
And he was like Danny Mickey and another guy like went on tours to like comic sign. They're inkers.
Yeah.
Like, inkers don't go
on tours.
Tours. And they were going around doing like tours, and he's like, more power to them, man. They were selling comics. It's like great.
So you should just be like me, Don or Drew. Just get a good friend of yours from work to give you a signed copy of something.
What is that? Who's that signed by? Cockrum?
Chris Claremont.
Chris Claremont. Nice.
Nice. That'll cost you like $5 now.
Oh, yeah. Who cares? It's just cool that this guy at work. He was like, "Yeah, I know you're a comic fan. I've got like all these comics that are signed by these different guys. Here, I'll give you a couple of them that have like some doubles and triples and quadruples up."
Nice.
Like, okay.
That's crazy. Cool. All right, so I read Cancor.
And then I'll have to wait for 2 hours with an 11-year-old and 8-year-old in line for some signature that I got to pay $5 for.
He was free, but
oh, okay.
but I did have to wait in line. I did have to go to Dallas, but I really wanted to meet John Byrne because I'd never met him, and he is one of my favorite artists growing up. So, yeah,
yay,
it was worth it.
John Byrne doesn't charge for his autograph?
No, he will sign up to 10 things. I think free. But he won't do CGC.
You never know now.
No, that was like a year ago.
Okay.
I don't think he's made an appearance since then. Because I said, hey, it's nice you're doing conventions again. He's like, well, I'm not doing conventions. This is like a one-time thing. I'm like, oh, sorry. Well, you're at a convention, so I assume you were doing conventions. Sorry, I guess I misspoke. I think because I said that, that's why he decided not to do any more conventions. Because he didn't like the fact that I was assuming that he was doing conventions
you
again.
Are the reason.
I'm pretty much the reason.
And you had an 8 and 11-year-old with you waiting 2 hours.
Yeah. So, anyway. I read Cancor. Have you read this, Scott?
All right.
Matthew Allison?
What's that?
Have you read this, Scott? Cancor?
I don't believe so, but I know I've heard you talk about it.
All right. So this is Matthew Allison's book. So I always thought, reading it all together, it kind of made a little more sense. Like, it's kind of like autobiographical. Like, it starts out with, like, a Matt Allison stand-in and, like, kind of his own personal, like, experiences. And then as Cancor's going through his thing, like, it'll flash back to, like, Matt Allison, like, vignettes or whatever. And he talks a little bit about it in the back. Like, he says, you know, some of these things are actually happened, and other things, you know, he embellished it a little bit or whatever. So, but the art is amazing, obviously. The coloring's really cool. It's like a matte finish on the pages, and so it's like got this really cool kind of, I don't know. It's kind of dull. Like the coloring. Everybody's trying to talk at the same time. Sorry, go ahead, Don.
Sorry. This is the first time it's been colored, right? It was published in black and white, or was it published in color?
I think it was published in color.
Was it? Okay.
But I'm not 100% on that.
I'd have to find my issues and pull them out. But now that you say it, I think maybe...
Wow. Are you disagreeing with Drew? That's not good.
No, I'm saying that now that I think about it...
Yeah, but now it seems like you feel like the need to pull them out and, like, prove Drew wrong.
Yeah, go find them in your box there, Don.
I know you're going to be wrong, Don.
No, I was saying he's probably right. I just remember it in white, but...
So now you have to pull them out so you can admire the fact that they're in color.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
So I still don't totally get Cancor, but I think it's like the whole superhero thing is a metaphor for Matt Allison basically finding his voice and figuring out how to be the artist that he wants to be. Because I know that he always talked about how he had a struggle. Like, he was really into being an artist, and then he felt like he wasn't good enough, and so he gave up art for, like, so many years. And then he started drawing again or whatever, you know? And so I think it's like a metaphor for him finding his voice and finding the courage to be the thing he wanted to be or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed, though. Remember that comic he had where, like, there was, like, a box cut out at the end where it was going to tell you something important and then the box was out?
Mm-hmm.
That's not in this. That must have been a different comic he did. Because wasn't there, like, a different Cancor book he put out, like, before this? Like, called something else?
Did he do 2 Cancor series?
Well, I think one was just a one-shot. But, yeah, I believe there were 2. But that must have been in that other one, because it was not in this one.
I thought, is this the first series or the second series?
This is the second series, the most recent stuff.
I thought it was in that one.
See, that's what I thought, too. But when I read it, it wasn't there. So I'm going to have to go back and get my single issues and find out.
Yeah. And when you find them, find out if they're in black and white or in color.
I can go grab them right now if you got 2 seconds. Can you can you entertain the peeps for like 30 seconds?
Yeah. Drew's going to... Drew, 30 seconds is a lot faster than it would take me to track down my copies.
Well, that's probably true. But that's because you have those couple of, miscellaneous boxes that you may have to look through?
Yes. I have no idea where it is. And this whole moving over here and then moving everything up there, everything's just been in such disarray that I haven't really been able to find anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's all just scattered. I'm starting to get it back in some semblance of order. But
see, there's 4 issues, which are the Calamity of Challenge, which is what this is, I believe.
Okay.
But then I have this just regular Cancor.
Right.
And it is different than the other series. But it doesn't have the little cutout thing. This might be newer. I don't know which is newer. Newer. But yeah, I thought it was in the last issue of Calamity of Challenge. Let's pull this out. We're going to get to the mystery.
I thought he's done 2 4-issue series.
That may be. Yeah, here it is. It's that. But this isn't in that.
Huh.
So now I'm not sure what I read. Well, yeah, this is...
color?
I don't know. It's almost like the trade is like a remix of this stuff.
Huh. Are the single issues in color?
They are in color, yes.
Okay.
There's some black and white mixed in here and there, but it's mostly in color. So yeah, it's a little confusing. Now I'm trying to see where this series ends. Yeah, so he added some pages that aren't in these. I don't know. This is weird. I'm gonna have to like digest this and figure it all out.
Oh wow.
Anyway, this is gonna be a whole project. But yeah, so like I had the 1 through 4 of Calamity Challenge, and I just have a can core, and it doesn't say number 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was just a single issue. So I don't know, dude. Matt Allison, he throws you for a loop. And then in the back, you have to read the back of the book. Like, he has like a little essay or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And then he says that at one point he was getting ready to do Batman Year 5, but then decided not to. He was hired to do it. Batman Year 5. Yeah, he had the gig and everything. But then I thought, is he being serious? I'm like, there's no Batman Year 5. There was like, it was only up to like Batman Year 3 by that time. So I think he's just pulling our leg. I think he's doing like an Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he did something weird. Like with that swipe file and that comics library stuff. Like he had some stuff in there that I didn't think was totally... Like
Yeah,
he was bullshitting.
Correct. I think he's...
Like making stuff up.
Yes, very much so. But it's entertaining, and it makes you think. So, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to dig out my stuff and read this and then read that because I think this is a second series.
Yes.
Which would be weird. Like, why would you collect the second series and not collect the first series? But I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and see. Like, maybe it's all combined together. I don't know. Maybe there's, like, parts of that issue and parts of the other issue in it.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't. It's not even the full-size comic book size.
Correct. It is a little bit smaller. I'll tell you, man. It is what it is. All right, real quick, I want to talk about these two books. We've got Rogue Planet number 2 and Plunge number 4. Now,
didn't you talk about Rogue Planet?
Yeah, I did. I talked about it before. So the reason I want to talk about these two is because it illustrates an important point. So Rogue Planet is by Colin Bunn and Andy McDonald and Nick Filardi. And Plunge is by Joe Hill, Stuart Immonen, and Dave Stewart. Now...
Wow, that is a freaking lineup between both of them, isn't it?
Right?
Jeez.
And they're kind of the same story. So, like, in Rogue Planet, it's about, like, astronauts who land on this planet, and there's some weird being that's, like, taking over bodies and killing people, and it's, like, you know, it's got, like, a sentience to it, but they're not quite sure.
It's got that sci-fi horror.
Yeah, sci-fi horror.
Right?
Plunge is about, like, a salvage crew, which... not in space, but it's still a salvage crew. It's a space salvage crew, a regular salvage crew. They go to some island, and there's like a weird alien life form that's taken over these bodies and has like a sentience to it, and it's like a hive mind thing. So they're almost like the same story, except one's in space and one's like not, like it's modern day. Now I think Colin Bunn is a pretty good writer, and Nick Filardi is a pretty good colorist, but Dave Stewart is like one of the best comic book colorists. And Stuart Immonen, in my opinion, is one of the best comic book artists. And so I feel like Plunge is like above and beyond. It's like seeing like a AAA movie compared to like a B movie. Just the fact that the art and the color is so much more amazing on Plunge. Like the production value is just higher, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if Joe Hill's a better writer than Colin Bunn. On this series, maybe. Like, I think Colin Bunn's Six Gun is pretty damn good. But if you took Six Gun up against Lock and Key, I think it'd be a pretty tight race. Lock and Key might have the edge, but Six Gun's pretty damn good, too. You know, so I think both of them at their peak are pretty good writers. So I think from a writing standpoint, they're both good. But the fact that I think Stuart Immonen and Dave Stewart as an art team are way above Nick Filardi and Andy McDonald, I think it just elevates the book like to a higher level. Obviously, but it just shows how important art in a comic book is. It like just makes it that much better.
Oh yeah.
It's like seeing a movie
does.
with like really good cinematography against a movie with like really bad cinematography. It's not the same.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I want to do with that. I did read. Finally finished
But
Black
a good
Science.
writer can overcome a lot of bad art.
That's true. That's true. But like I say, Fables compared to Sandman, I think Fables is above and beyond just because the art is so much more consistent and more appealing to me personally.
It could be probably,
And they're different series though.
eras. Yeah, 2 different series, 2 different eras of things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard.
Have you
But
finished
Black Science, is this like the end?
This is the end. Have you finished this, Don?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Long time ago.
Really? I didn't think it came out that long ago.
Well, whenever it came out, I finished it.
Cool. What did you think of the
Did you
end?
even talk about it, maybe?
I did.
Did you like the end? Do you even remember the end?
I don't even remember it now.
I felt the end was kind of weird, but maybe it's like Paper Girls. It'll be better when I read
the
it
whole
all at once.
series kind of weird?
It was, and it's kind of like Paper Girls because there's like time travel and different dimensions and different threads and continuity.
Hello, worlds. And
Is Scott reading it?
I read the first couple chunks of it.
Yeah, this is the
Whatever
last one.
had.
Yeah, this one just came out, so you'll want to read this one. It's the end.
Oh, I was
Probably
going to
so.
have you remind me what happened at the end.
Oh,
But I
Scott's gonna read it.
So,
But I mean,
Okay.
the gist is they're going through all these alternate realities looking for their kids, right? I mean,
Right.
So
yeah, of course, there's all sorts of craziness that happens in between in there.
correct.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was more that they were going through all those alternate realities trying to find their original one,
Yes, correct.
where they're from. I mean, it's kind of the Gilligan Island thing or whatever the hell else.
Yeah.
Trying to
So, but no, it was really good. Matteo Scalera, the artist, he is amazeballs. After reading this, he is easily one of my favorite artists currently working. He is just so
Really?
good. And he is amazing on this book.
I felt like on that one sometimes.
He
man,
he is my jam. Like his layouts and like his just composition is just amazing. So I don't know, it's really good. Like even like his covers, they all look like they're movie posters or something.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It just seemed like sometimes with the action and stuff, I would get lost a little bit in things.
Yeah, this one isn't quite as
Maybe
bad.
some of the celebrities of character looks and things, especially when you're dealing with these weird parallel worlds and.
Yeah, I can see that. He is a little frenetic, or if that's the right word.
But I could see that from more of a that cover just blow you away shot. Yeah, I could see him doing really good.
Yeah,
on
but
that.
even the interior stuff is amazing too. Like his splash pages and just his storytelling. I don't know. It just really blew me away. But
Are there 3 of those hardcovers or 4?
there's 3. This is the third and the last one. Each one collects about 15 issues. This one's only 13 because it only went to 43. But there's a ton of bonus stuff in it.
What are those? Are those like $40?
$50. But they're oversized. I mean, they're giant.
No, I know.
They're
But
like absolute size almost.
I don't know if that's a series that I wanted to double dip on and buy because I didn't buy them, but I'm wondering. If I
Oh,
want to
gotcha.
double-
I don't think you double dip on this. I mean, it's good and the art's amazing. It's nice to see it in the bigger format, but
Right, I
I
like
mean-
those big, oversized hardcovers, but I don't know.
what's great about this one is Reminder has figured out how to make it to where the pages lay flat almost, and so when you have like a double page spread, you can actually see most of it. You know what I mean? Some of those hardcovers, they don't quite do the binding right, and you lose a lot in the margins or whatever, which is kind of annoying. But these are really well done, solid, and I think he just put the first 2 back in print, so
Did he?
they don't last long. So he said that if you want to get them, you better jump on it. So. Like I said, I have other stuff I read, but nothing that I really need to talk about. I don't think. I think I hit
Really?
my
Are
main.
you sure?
I think I hit my
You always
main
get some of
stuff.
those little quick ones,
Yeah. I don't have too much else to talk about, Scott. That's all I got.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock. You know.
Yeah, I got to get up early.
Do you?
Yeah, that's what I figured, that you had the bright and
Right.
early shift.
Are you still working from home, Scott?
Yeah.
Is that forever?
At least now until September. Now they're telling us until after Labor Day.
Wow. It's crazy. All right.
Although
Well,
I think I have to go into the office at some point in time to try to get some other office equipment. They're giving, since they're letting us stay at home for so long. They're like, well, now we'll let you take, some like extra keyboard and maybe mouse and monitors that you may have had. I don't know.
I'm going to sign off the podcast and we can chat a little bit more. All right. Bye, everybody.